Cannibalism. It's a word that sends chills down the spine. But what if I told you that this dark aspect of human history might actually be tied to your ancestry? Could it be true that we've all come from a time when humans ate other humans? Let's dive into the fascinating truth behind our past and explore whether cannibalism was really a part of human evolution. What if your ancestors weren't just survivors, they were cannibals? Could the dark history of human survival include feasting on human flesh? Stick with me, and you might just find out that cannibalism isn't as far from our roots as we think. Let's start with a shocking piece of evidence. Did you know that early human ancestors might have been cannibals? Around 800,000 years ago, at the Grandolina cave in Spain, scientists discovered human remains with clear signs of butchering. This wasn't just a case of ritual, it was likely survival. These early humans, called Homo antecessor, probably consumed flesh as a way to stay alive during harsh conditions. Imagine living in an environment so unforgiving that eating human flesh seemed like the only choice. Survival or cannibalism? That was their reality. Even Neanderthals, one of our closest ancestors, had their share of cannibalistic behavior. Bones from Neanderthal remains show signs of cutting and breaking, similar to how animals are butchered. Some scientists believe Neanderthals ate other Neanderthals, especially in times of food scarcity. It wasn't about hunger alone, it could have been survival or possibly even power dynamics within their tribes. Let's take a closer look at why ancient humans might have turned to cannibalism. Was it out of desperation, or was there something more behind it? Imagine being stranded in an ice age. Food is scarce and the cold bites at your bones. In extreme conditions like this, cannibalism was a survival tactic. When everything else was off limits, the human body became a last resort. The Donner Party, for example, faced starvation in the Sierra Nevada mountains in the 1840s and were forced to eat the bodies of their own. Survival cannibalism was as extreme as it gets, but for them, it was about keeping life alive. But cannibalism wasn't always about survival. Sometimes it had a spiritual or cultural meaning. The Aztecs, for instance, ate human flesh as part of their religious rituals. They believed that consuming human flesh gave them power and strength, ensuring their survival and the prosperity of their civilization. Even more interestingly, some tribes in Africa practiced endocannibalism, eating their own deceased family members to keep their spirits alive. The Maori of New Zealand even used cannibalism as a form of revenge, defeating and eating their enemies to assert dominance and honor. Now you may be thinking, that's all ancient history. Surely cannibalism is a thing of the past. Well, you'd be surprised. A shocking, more modern example comes from 1972, during the Uruguayan Andes plane crash. The survivors, trapped in freezing conditions without food, were forced to eat the bodies of the deceased passengers to stay alive. Their story made headlines and opened the world's eyes to the lengths humans will go to survive. This is not just a story from the past, this is recent history. And it didn't stop there. The Donner Party from the 1800s faced a similar choice: survive or perish. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. Could cannibalism have affected our genes? One of the most fascinating aspects of human evolution involves kuru, a deadly disease. This disease spread among the 4 people in Papua New Guinea who practiced ritualistic cannibalism by eating the brains of their dead. The practice led to the spread of kuru, and as a result, humans evolved genetic resistance to prion diseases like this one. This means that cannibalism indirectly affected our genetics, shaping how humans evolved over time. So the question is, did the practice of consuming human flesh leave an everlasting mark on our species? Even though cannibalism is no longer widespread, its cultural legacy remains. Cannibalism isn't just a historical artifact, it's influenced culture, rituals, and even law. Some cultures still practiced cannibalism in the 19th and early 20th centuries. While most societies rejected it, some cultures saw it as a way to gain strength or show respect. The idea of power through cannibalism persisted in some societies for centuries, and traces of this belief can still be found in isolated communities today. So, in today's world, cannibalism is considered a taboo, a barbaric act. But is that because we've completely evolved beyond it? Imagine if we didn't have the societal pressures against it. Would our instincts drive us to it under extreme circumstances? Cannibalism continues to be a psychological trigger, a deeply unsettling taboo. Why does this practice invoke such strong emotional responses? It's because we've been conditioned to see it as unthinkable, despite our ancestors doing it to survive. So what do you think? Are we really all descended from cannibals? The evidence shows that for some of our ancestors, eating human flesh was just a part of life. Whether for survival, ritual, or power, cannibalism left its mark on our past. But what about you? Would you survive at any cost, or does the taboo hold too strong a grip? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more thought-provoking videos on history's hidden truths.